Welcome to day 2 of factoring. So hopefully you guys were able to do yesterday's lesson, play the game, find the 2 key numbers. How is that going to help us with factoring, and what is factoring? So you guys have factored stuff out before. We're going to talk about how do you factor a quadratic equation. You take this and you turn it into something where you're multiplying things together. So let's go to something you've done before. X plus 3 times x plus 5. Okay, we understand that we can make a box and we can multiply this. And when you do that, you end up getting x squared plus, add these together, 8x plus 15. What we're going to do today is learn how, given this, can we work our way backwards to get the factored form. And that's what today's goal is. Can we now take a quadratic and turn it back to its factored form? Okay. So I broke this up into a couple things. And you'll sort of see that there's a little bit of a pattern here. If you notice, I take these two numbers, 3 and 5, if I add them together, you get 8. If I multiply 3 times 5, I get 15. So the relationship is, if you look at the game we played all along, for ax squared plus bx plus c, you want to find two numbers that multiply, okay? They multiply to be c, and they add to be b. And that's how we factor a quadratic. So on your sheet, we're going to do 3 examples as a class. And we're going to first start off talking about when c is positive. Okay, when this is a positive value, we know that in order to get a positive, and from your game yesterday, that either a positive times a positive or a negative times a negative is going to determine, okay, is going to be one of those two. So we're going to look at 3 examples. X squared minus 7x plus 10. So once again, the first 3 are going to be all situations where this is positive. So in order to multiply to get 10, these have to be the same sign. If they weren't the same sign, you'd get a negative. And then what we say is they have to add to be a negative. So if they have to be the same sign and add to be a negative, we know both these numbers are going to be negative values. So when I do this, 1 and 10, 2 and 5, I know they're both going to be negatives. So this would add up to be negative 11. This adds up to be negative 7. Oh, that's what we want them to add to be. Right, so that's how it relates to what we did yesterday. Once you find your 2 key numbers, all you need to do is write x plus whatever these are. In this case, this is negative 2, so I put minus 2. This is minus 5, so I put x minus 5. So that would be the factored form. Okay? Just a matter of finding what these 2 key numbers are. Now, let's look at another example. Example 2 in your packet. Okay, you should be doing these on your sheet with me. X squared plus 8x plus 15. Okay, another example where c is positive. This time they add to be 8. Well, I know if they're going to have to be the same sign, so they must both be positive values to add to be a positive. So I've got 1 and 15, 3 and 5, both positive. This adds to be 16, this adds to be 8. These are my 2 key numbers. So I write x plus 3, and then this is positive 5. And that's my factored form. And you can sort of see the relationship. These add to be 5, 8, multiply to be 15. All right, let's do one more example, and then I'll let you do some on your own. So x squared minus 11x plus 10. So in this case, now they multiply to be 10, and they add to be negative 11. So once again, these have to be the same signs, multiply to be a positive. So I know that they're both going to be negatives because they add to be a negative. So I got negative 1, negative 11, or sorry, negative 10. So I got to multiply to be negative 10, and negative 2, and negative 5. So this adds to be negative 11, this adds to be negative 7. This is the winner. So it's x minus 1 and x minus 10. All right, so those are the examples I want to show you. What you're going to do now is you're going to finish off the problems 4 through 9 on the bottom of the sheet. So do these problems. Once you're done, you're going to flip to the back side, and then there's going to be another video to watch. The next video is going to be, what if this is a negative value? How do we factor that? If you feel like, hey, I'm already really good at factoring, I don't need that second video, just go through and you can do these problems on your own. Okay? When you're done with all the problems, though, you need to take a picture of both sides and you need to submit them on your Google Class. Okay, so you'll have a spot to submit that assignment. So that concludes part A, and we'll come back with part B in just a minute.